So good day everyone. So we are group 7 and we have chosen Sweden as our country for the ethical and legal policies for the environmental change for this subject. So next slide.
Hmm.
So we will discuss this.
Yeah, it's my turn. My turn. Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
So, in 2020 Environmental Performance Index, Sweden ranked 8 with a score with 78.7. Environmental Performance Index provides a data-driven summary of the states of sustainability around the world. The EPA offers a scorecard that highlights leaders and laggards in environmental performance and provides practical guidance for countries that aspire to move toward a sustainable future. So next slide. Here
Who will read this?
it's only
It's only the top one subtopic.
yeah.
Well, Sweden
So
environmental issues, policies, and the clean technology.
So going on to the environmental issues of Sweden, one of the things that we discovered is that one of their biggest environmental issues is the consequences of their logging industry, which is according to World Wildlife Fund, they have reported 2,000 forest-dwelling species, including birds, moths, and fincha. And although Sweden has made progress in enhancing sustainable timber harvesting, it is still evident that their bad practices remain according to the WWF or the World Wildlife Fund. So another major environmental issue that Sweden faces is their pollution of the Baltic Sea caused by pollutants from agricultural sources and waste treatment facilities. And moreover, we have their legacy of past industrial emissions in the form of acidification of its lakes, which is the country's prolonged industrialization and urbanization in the south, where they have established an acidic water quality issue there, and that threatened the native flora and fauna, where fishes cannot breed in more than 6,000 Swedish lakes. Next slide, please. So we go to the environmental policies of Sweden and how they combat with these environmental issues that they're facing in their country. So Sweden actually tried to position themselves as one of the progressive countries on on taking up the environmental issues in their country. And one of the things they actually did was to prohibit the selling of plastic drink bottles that do not comply with the approved recycling program in their country. And because of this move, this policy actually led them to just 1% of solid waste going into landfills, with 99% of solid waste recycled or used to produce biogas, which is, I think, is good because not many countries can do that. So next is the Sweden was a leader among the Baltic nations during its 2009 presidency of the EU, creating a pilot project among its Baltic neighbors. And in 2012, Sweden also created a new government agency, the Swedish Agency for Marine and Water Management, to handle water pollution issues. So, moreover, Sweden has also set the goal of zero net greenhouse gas emissions by 2050, and emissions are currently one of the lowest in Europe, having decreased by nearly 20% since 1990. Many of Sweden's corporations participated in this socially responsible business practices, and Swedish companies like IKEA are viewed as environmental leaders for this initiative. And Sweden also operates closely with the United States on ecological sustainability and clean technologies, which will be further discussed. So,
Well, in this we will talk about the clean technology in Sweden. Unlike other countries in Europe, Sweden's clean technology sector is comprised mostly of smaller startup companies rather than a handful of large corporate entities. According to Bloomberg Business, Sweden features around 3,500 clean tech companies that collectively book about uh, 14 billion in revenues. Exports, which can make up approximately a quarter of our sales, rose 75% from 2005 to 2009. To help expand the industry, the Swedish government recently set aside 180 million for clean tech projects. Clean tech, a term used to describe products or services that improve operational performance, productivity of efficiency, while reducing cost, inputs, energy consumption, waste or pollution, is another important part of sustainability business. Internationally, Sweden continues to fare well in energy and environmental technologies, coming third in the Global Clean Tech Innovation Index 2017, after Denmark and Finland. Renewable energy sources account for 48% of Swedish energy production, and Swedish companies has been known to export the knowledge in the bioenergy, wind power and solar energy sectors. A Swedish biogas international plant currently operates in Flint, Michigan, and the company has been discussing plans for expansion. Well, in the next slide, we'll talk about what is the basis of environmental policy, which agencies and bodies administer and enforce environmental law. Um, well, the main Swedish environmental legislation consists of the Swedish Environmental Code, which entered into force on January 1st in 1999. The Environmental Code brought together 15 existing central environmental laws. Environmental Code aims to promote sustainable development. This is further elaborated and specified in the form of ordinances and regulations issued by public authorities and decisions taken in individual cases. As far as environmental policies are concerned, the Swedish Parliament has adopted national environmental quality goals. So, Emilio, it's your turn.
Yeah. So here, the agency's body enforcing environmental law consists of the national environment agencies, such as the Swedish Environmental Protection Agency and the Swedish Agency for Marine and Water Management, as well as regional authorities, such as the country administrative boards and local municipal authorities. The Swedish Environmental Protection Agency is a public agency in Sweden tasked with coordinating, monitoring, and evaluating efforts to meet Sweden's environmental objectives. The agency also funds interdisciplinary research on environmental and nature protection. So the Swedish Agency for Marine and Water Management, it's a government agency that works for fishing seas, lakes, and streams for the benefit and enjoyment of all. They are responsible for managing the use and preventing the overuse of Sweden marine and freshwater environments. Also, they take into consideration the requirements of the ecosystem and people, but now and in the future. They gather knowledge, planning, and making decisions about actions to improve the environment, and they also coordinate and establish efforts among everyone involved, both nationally and internationally.
So we are now in the conclusions and recommendations.
So as for my conclusion for our topic, Sweden has implemented a set of ethical and legal policies. Sweden has a well-structured environmental policy with clear goals for climate action both nationwide and internationally. The Swedish government and other organizations can lead by example and encourage actors in other countries to follow their footsteps. Despite the small size of the country and the small number of inhabitants, the Swedish way of sustainable living can make a difference in the world.
Well, I can tell that I think that climate change have made it necessary to change the law of country to support the environment. Every day man destroys the environment and little by little, but it depends on us to improve our future, and clearly Sweden has been doing little by little.
For me, I think the Swedish government is very urgent with their environmental policies to solve the environmental issues that they face over the years, which I think is a good thing for a country because they get to be able to have their people participate into this kind of policies, which is actually good.
Well, the Swedish government has been improving environmental legislation as man has been damaging the environment. Year after year, industries pollute too much. There is a lot of smog and a lot of damage to the environment. The government is most interested to improve the future of the people, to improve the future of the new generation. So I think it's a good idea of the Swedish government to do new legislation to protect the environment. Well, this was the Team 7 activity.